live. All right, salam. Well, let me fix this a little bit. I think of that. Yeah, there we go. I should sit over here a little bit. There we go. All right, perfect. Stop falling. Stop falling. There we go. Salam. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Mustafa. I do game development. I have worked in the game industry doing multiple things that wasn't game development. Well, I mean, one of them's kind of game. Anyways, I've done administrative work at Treyarch during Black Ops 4. I worked at a indoor cycling game software thing. Did QA, and because it was more software development, the QA work was more hands-on with the developers as far as the development pipeline goes. And I've done solo game development work. I released a game called Nexus Defenders, just a simple tower defense game available on Steam. I'm trying to get another game out, which is like a first-person stealth gameplay, puzzles, trying to escape from the facility before the dude kills you, called Beware Tomorrow. I'm going to get back around to finish that eventually. I do all sorts of other stuff. I have a full-time job. Actually, I don't have a full-time job. I take that back. I have jobs. I have jobs to do. That's why I don't work full-time on game development, because I'm not there yet as far as being a full-time game developer on my own. But I do other stuff, including education, teaching adults, post-primary school, teaching stuff like game development, game testing, graphics design, stuff like that. Hopefully more classes. So today's topic, so I'm just going to talk a little bit while people start populating the stream. Today's topic will be about basically indie game developers. I'm going to talk about the YouTube circle of indie game developers, because my audience is primarily not game developers. Hey, Cosgrove, good morning to you too. Thanks for joining. Man, you got like a bunch of, I don't know if this is new or not, but you got like a bunch of symbols. I'm not going to guess which language that is. Asian. I'm just going to say Asian symbols next to your name. I don't know if that's new or not, but that's very interesting. How you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. Let me take a drink. My iced coffee. Got to have that while I'm streaming. Anyways, thanks for joining. So this, as I was saying, what I was saying was the majority of my audience are not game developers, which that's what I'm shooting for. I don't want to, my goal isn't to get game developers to be my target audience. My target audience is gamers, people who play games. And so therefore, a lot of you probably don't know about what the YouTube scene is like for indie game developers. So that's what the main topic will be about today, especially with a video that went viral this past week within the indie game development scene. So most of you probably have not seen this video, but game developers have seen this video, indie game devs. And we're going to talk about that. Let me, I don't know why, like all of a sudden I start talking and doing this live stream, and then all of a sudden I got to clear my throat a million times. So that's fortunate for myself. Anyways, what else am I going to talk about before I get into the main topic? I just want to buy some time as people start populating the chat. Oh, some updates real quick. So moving forward, for the time being, hydrate. Yes, I will. Thanks, Cosgrove. Moving forward, for the time being, I decided I'm going to shift the stream days to Tuesday instead of Wednesday. So this week, let me skip the ad. It says ads will run shortly. No, skip this ad. We don't need an ad starting so soon. So this week, I'm scheduled to work tomorrow during Yeah. All right. Let's start that all over. Stop falling. Stop moving. Anyways, so tomorrow I am scheduled to work at my warehouse job tomorrow. So that's why I decided to do Tuesday stream this week, because if I wait till Thursday, that will be Christmas, and I don't celebrate Christmas, but I know a lot of my audience probably does. So why fight the fact that they're not going to watch? That's how I saw it. So the options to me were either today or Friday. So I went with today. And moving forward, I think I'm just going to stick with Tuesdays unless, this is the asterisk, unless I am scheduled to work my warehouse job on Tuesday, then I'm going to shift it. But the plan for the time being is to keep it on Tuesday, because my class is going to start January, late January, mid 2/3 into January. That's not middle. That's not late either. I guess it's late. Yes, 2/3 into January is late. Late January, my class will start, and the classes are Monday and Wednesday mornings. So basically, I can't do the live stream. No point in even trying to do the live stream on Wednesdays, so I'm going to shift it to Tuesday for the time being. And unless I get scheduled for my warehouse job, then I'm going to just stick with Tuesday. I'll let you guys know ahead of time if I'm scheduled to work on Tuesday. What else? What else is new? Trying to think. Any other updates I should mention? I mean, that's basically it that I can think of. I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I even do this, that people show up, and that the channel has grown tremendously this year, and I'm pretty happy about that. I'm blessed that that's happened, and hopefully next year we'll find even more success with the channel and with Sabr path with video games, so that I can shift from working the warehouse towards doing more of this. And also I need to get back in shape. I need to get really on top of the kettlebells and get back to the gym and hit some weights and hit the punching bag. I need to definitely turn things around 2026. So the I guess one more update is that I'm not losing the warehouse job yet, because the supervisor told me he wants to keep me. So that's a blessing. It's not a great job. It doesn't pay very well, but it is a job. So I'm fortunate that the supervisor wants to keep me. He says I work hard, and that's the goal, is to always work hard. Even if I feel like I am not getting paid my worth, I feel like it is very important for my character to always do the best I can, as long as it's honest. If it's honest work, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to be the best I can be, and work hard. And fortunately, that's working out as far as the supervisor saying he wants to keep me. And God will open more doors as long as I work hard. That's basically a mentality I always try to keep. So that is the update. Let's get into the main topic. Now that we're like 12 minutes into the live stream, we'll go into the main topic. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat, and interact with the chat as much as I can. What is this on top chat? It should be live chat instead. I don't want top. I mean, it's not right now. It's not any different, but yeah, live chat. I want to see everybody, and let me see if I can see who is inside. It doesn't really show me. Anyways, that's fine. So let's go into the main topic. I'll move this over here, and I'll expand that, and all right. So some context real quick. Main topic, we're going to do some context. Context for this is that when it comes to, hey, stop moving. When it comes to indie game development, so marketing is the most important thing when it comes to making money, because we're putting a lot of time into our work, and I mean unless it's a low effort asset flip or AI slop, which there's lots of those, but those get buried in the algorithm because Steam basically, if the game has less than 10 reviews, then it gets buried. No one sees it. No one really sees the game if it gets less than 10 reviews. But basically, for those of us who are honest and trying to make games, we want to make money to make up for the time that we put into the game. We want to compensate our time. Because otherwise, if we don't compensate our time, then we have to work another job, and we got to pay the bills. I think this is something that most people understand, and there's a small number of people who are like, oh, you should do it for the love of the game. And those people are immature-minded or have never paid bills in their life. I don't know, take your pick, but basically this is not a hot take to say that people who work on something want to get compensated for their time. Even if they work on the project on their own, they still want compensation. Because, at the end of the day, we have bills to pay. We want to stay within our homes. We want to not live in debt, etc. So marketing is a huge portion of making our money back. And when it comes to indie game development, the options are hasn't been figured out yet. I was going to say very narrow, very slim, but it just still hasn't been figured out yet as far as how indie developers, someone like myself who's a solo developer or someone who's a small team, small, like 5 people or less, we don't have money to spend on marketing. We don't have money to pay influencers, because there are influencers who will only play games if the game is already hot, which at that point it doesn't even matter, or 2, they'll only play a game if they are getting paid. And the majority of indie game developers don't have money to pay people to show the game, whether it's whether it's an influencer, whether it's a reviewer, whether it's paying for a marketing agency, whatever it is. Like, we don't have money to pay. Like, that's the whole point that we're indie. We're starting from the bottom and trying to work our way up. So the formula of marketing at the moment. So there are certain people. Let's see. Chris Zukowski. Let me get this up on screen real quick. So this gentleman here, let's switch screens. Transition. All right, yeah, Chris Zukowski. This guy who is holding the award. So this guy, he's seen as one of the top guys when it comes to teaching indie developers how to market a game. He has courses, which are basically like Zoom calls, whether it's just him talking, or sometimes he has Zoom calls with some sort of an expert, such as a community manager for a successful indie game, or indie publishers, to ask them what they are looking for when they are signing publishing deals with indie developers. So he has a lot of plus he has his like weekly blog. He like talks about stuff. So Chris, he started off as an indie developer and realized he's not too good at it, but then he realized he's very good at numbers, and he started crunching lots of numbers, finding statistics, and figuring out what games are the best selling, just finding patterns, and he worked his way from there. And so now he's a pretty good resource when it comes to indie developers trying to learn how to sell a game. But his specific topic is Steam, selling games on Steam. He's not really some of his information can be useful for consoles, but his information is primarily focused on Steam. So that's Chris Zukowski. But aside from him, let's transition back to this. So aside from him, basically when it comes to indie game development, indie game devs will do their marketing and their social media on their own because they don't have money. Like, I'm doing my whole YouTube Sabr path on my own. And yeah, I don't really talk about my games that much at the moment, especially since I'm not working on Beware Tomorrow. I'm not actively developing it at the moment. The plan is to get back to it eventually. And that's why I keep doing these videos, because I don't want the brand to die. Because if I stop doing the videos, even though I'm really busy, if I stop doing videos, then YouTube just forgets about or not forgets, but just leaves behind. It moves away, and then it shifts towards sending different channels videos to that audience of people. So coming to hey, Mr. 10 Years, welcome. Have you heard of Vince Zampella? Yes, I did. I did hear about Vince Zampella. That's very unfortunate for him. Rest in peace. I never met him, even though I worked at Treyarch. When I worked at Treyarch, he was already gone from Activision and Infinity Ward. He was not at Infinity Ward at that time. I believe he was already with Respawn Games. So it's very unfortunate what happened to him. Rest in peace. Don't really have too much to say about it. Anyways, so the topic. What was I saying? Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Game developers on YouTube. So game developers on YouTube will basically make videos on YouTube to build an audience, and their primary videos end up being so they make dev vlogs. A dev vlog is a video where they talk about the current development of their game. Hey, I've been working on this game since my last devlog, which was a month ago. I worked on these things and these things got added. And that's basically it. And those type of videos are only interesting to other people who make games. They're not interesting to gamers. They're only interesting to other people who make games. Plus, the video itself needs to be presented in a way that's interesting. Like, oh, I came across these problems, and here's how I got across these problems. So that's one type of video, the devlog. Other than that, there's the trailer, their game trailer, which self-explanatory. And if the game itself is not popular, the game trailer doesn't get good views. Devlogs, sometimes they get good views if it's devlog number 1 or devlog 0. Devlog 0 is basically when they say, this is the game I'm going to start working on. So those two usually do well in numbers, but then after that, devlog 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Don't do well in numbers. And then, those are videos that aren't doing too well. And then other than that, what else are they going to do as far as videos? They end up doing tutorials, game dev tutorials. And so we have, let me get this guy on screen. Where is he? Mr. Thomas Brush is basically like the blueprint in which many game developers follow his lead. So this is Thomas Brush. Let's transition, get this on screen. Let's close that. All right. So Thomas Brush is basically the blueprint as to, let's start with oldest. So we could see his transition with his YouTube career. So he started off talking about his game, which I talked about earlier. And then he started adding, hey, these are things that will help you, how to finish making your game. How to start your own game company. Like these aren't like not exactly hard skill tutorials, but soft skill tutorials. So rather than saying like, hard skill tutorial will be like how to do a specific thing in Unity, how to do a specific thing in Photoshop. These are more soft skills. Like, let me skip this ad. Hey, Wrangler, welcome to the stream. How you been doing? So what I'm talking about here, just to catch you up, we're talking about, I'm adding context to the main topic. I'm talking about game developers on YouTube, indie game developers on YouTube. So I'm adding context here. This is Thomas Brush's. Thomas Brush is a game developer, and he's basically the blueprint as to what most indie game developers copy as far as their social media presence. So he started making like these helpful videos on, how do you do this in video game? Oh, I quit. This is what prevented me from quitting my game. And then eventually he starts doing some technical videos. But then over time, here's some technical videos, how to do 2D games or audio in Unity, how to do these post-processing effects in Unity, some stuff that's a little bit more technical. But then eventually he started selling his course, which is called Full-Time Game Dev. So let me get that on screen. So he eventually was like, hey, I am a successful indie game developer. I have 2 games that I've released that were successful. I have gotten publishing deals. That's basically his sell. He's gotten publishing deals and such. I used to watch Brush's videos a lot back when I made an attempt at game development. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're familiar with him. This is basically his course. I know it shows as like I did nothing, but I did do stuff. The reason why it shows nothing because of the fact that he switched servers or not servers, but he switched from one course framework to another. And when he switched websites, all the progress went away. So it basically shows that I have 0 progress, even though I did stuff. Anyways, so he sold this first, and then he added more stuff to it over time, which I think that's pretty generous of him to update the course over time. The fact that it wasn't just, okay, you just pay for this once and that's it. But the point being, this became a revenue source for him because the regular price for the how much is this? How much is full-time game dev? Let's look real quick. Does it say? It don't say. Let me ask. Let me ask Brave. How much is Thomas Brush's full-time game dev course? So it's hundreds of dollars. That's let's see. Okay. What? $9? That is incorrect. Give me the full price, original price. Because I guess it's on sale right now. The offer is okay. I guess it's $9 right now or something. But okay, so the original course, the original price was $997. And there are also third-party listings claiming $2,000, but $997 appears to be the most consistent cited official price. Okay, so about $1,000. I think I paid like $500 or something like that because stop moving. Because it was like a promo. Either way, hundreds of bucks. Point being, this is a revenue source for him. He found a way to monetize his tutorial content towards game devs, because the problem with making this type of content here is when you're doing this type of content to basically market your video game, market your brand, the audience you cultivate is a game development audience. So they are more interested in learning how to make a game than they are interested in buying your game. And so that's why a lot of other indie developers have basically copied his style, and they're like, okay, we're going to sell a course as well. Hey, all right, I see some. Let me catch up with the chat. Kotaku, Wapo, PC Gamer, Fink's favorites. Wapo is Washington Post. PC Gamer, Fink's favorites. What were we listing off, Cosgrove? Are those all the terrible places? Hey, Servan Balahi, welcome. Thanks for joining. So what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, basically this is what most indie game developers do. They make this type of content, and even I made similar content to this when I started my channel, but I was going nowhere for one thing, because I wasn't doing tutorials, because I didn't want to make tutorials. I was like, why am I making tutorials? So I didn't make tutorials. I made dev vlogs, and I talked about game development, but still, it wasn't the audience I wanted. I want to, as I mentioned in the beginning of this stream, my target audience are gamers. I want to cultivate an audience of people who want to check out my game when my games are available. I don't want to cultivate an audience of game developers. So that's why I started doing completely different content. Plus, I think it's more interesting to talk about these topics rather than game development itself. So this is like an entire YouTube genre. Let's bring up another guy real quick. This guy Brackies. Brackies is similar. Let's make sure. Well, okay, yeah. So Brackies is a bigger one, like 2 million subs, and just tutorials, all sorts of tutorials. I don't know if Brackies has made a game or not, but like just tutorials. And I don't think Brackies has a like a course. I think Brackies just does tutorial videos. Let's get back over here. I see dude was whoops. Oh, dude was featured in all. Oh, okay, yeah. Thomas Brush featured in all those. Just 3 red flags. That's all I was supposed to say. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't blame. Whoops, I'm getting a little too loud. I don't blame him though for like if you get called at or if you get spotlit by a big publication that's like, yeah, I did it. Look at me, I'm legit. I'm a legit game developer. It's a good time to talk about games. Yeah, it's a crazy time to talk about games. So yeah, Brackies is one, and here's another one. Code Monkeys. Code Monkeys I used to watch frequently, but the problem with the problem is I just don't have time to watch videos. A lot of videos. Exposure is exposure. I get it. Yes, I agree. So Code Monkey, he's one dude. He has almost 600K subs. So pretty big channel. He's been doing this for a long time. And I like Code Monkey because this guy is legit. He's been making games on Steam for like 15 years. Like this is a list of his games, and some of them are actually, semi-successful. It's successful enough for him to keep going. So he has a big list of games. He's been doing this for, like 15 years or so. And he has very good content because not only does he have technical tutorials, but he talks about a lot of stuff that game developers would find useful, like talking about release notes for Unity, etc. Still, the point being, his audience that he's cultivating is still game developers, not gamers. Gamers don't come checking out Code Monkey. Bracky tend to do a lot about Unity dev, and now he's all in Godot now. Yeah. I think he hasn't been doing it that much though, because like once he came back, so he came back, it says a year ago, and he's only made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 6 videos on Godot. So I don't know if he has more content somewhere else though. But so let's get into, so now that I have added context to this whole situation. I know that was 20 minutes of context or so, but just wanted to make sure I add context because I know a lot of you aren't game developers. So you're probably, completely in the out when it comes to this this circle of game developments. But this is Blackthornprod. This video is talking about Blackthornprod. And Blackthornprod, let me pull up his channel real quick. Or their channel. It's 2 guys. 2 brothers. Let's stop this. So Blackthornprod, similar, 600K subs. Been doing this for a really long time. Like they were doing this since they were teenagers. Like there's a picture of him being like a little goofy teenager right there in the that video. I feel like only 8 years ago. I feel like he's been doing it longer. But anyways, starting off doing tutorials and then eventually branching off to do more than just tutorials, but primarily tutorials, and still it's a target audience of game developers. And I mean, this is kind of unrelated, but one thing that I always notice about Blackthornprod is that their art style is basically like a knockoff of what's Binding of Isaac. So I always saw like their art as being like Edmund McMiller light. I learned game dev in a course, but I went all in character art route for games. Nice. I mean, I like character design. Character design is really cool because you get to do a lot with just coming up. The design's more than just what they look like. You're coming up with their personality, telling a story about them. That sounds pretty cool. Let's get into. So this is now that I add more context. We're going to watch this video real quick. Let's make sure if the volume is not high enough, let me know. Let me turn off closed captioning.
One of the biggest game dev YouTubers, was once an incredible resource for beginners, but are they now running a huge scam? Are their courses any good, or are they misleading customers, exploiting other YouTubers, and even breaking the consumer laws? They are promising the indie game dream to go full-time with creating and selling games. But is it a false promise? I reached out to YouTubers who previously collaborated.
So these guys are all like very well known in like the indie game development YouTube scene, especially this one right here. This is Danny, he was the only one who was able to break out beyond having an audience of game devs, because his videos were like very meme filled. Like he was trying to make funny videos. So his channel got to like 4 million or something like that, but then he just quit without even saying anything. Like he still exists. He leaves comments, but he just quit. But he was the biggest one.
With them, and even Noah and Leah themselves, the two brothers behind Blackthornprod, to get their point of view. The more I dug, the more everything started to unravel. Blackthornprod officially became a thing back in 2015, when Noah and Liam were only 15 and 13 years old. In the early days, they were exploring and learning while posting.
Yeah, I mean, when you start that young and you're being consistent and you're working hard, then yeah, you're gonna find success. And I give them credit for that. Like that's not something I'm gonna ignore. Like if you're young, ambitious, you set up a social media presence, you work hard, that's a surefire way to find success.
Their process on their blog. Noah created the art and Liam did the code for their games. They started creating tutorials and devlogs on YouTube. In 2018, they went from 1,000 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers in just 6 months. And less than a year later, they reached 100,000 subscribers.
That's pretty good. They were also very fortunate that they started so early, because they started 8 years ago, when there's less competition on YouTube. Now everybody has channels, so every other channel is basically competition.
2019. They consistently got 10 to 30,000 views on each video, with outliers that gained a ton of views. They had established themselves as a trusted part of the game dev community, with their high quality videos and collaborations with other YouTubers. However, they were about to take it to another level. 3 years ago, one video changed everything. A Pass the Game challenge. That video today has 1.8 million views. They found their golden goose, and they wrote that.
So to add context to this Pass the Game challenge, I don't think he added the context because most people
today has 1.8 million views to another level. 3 years ago, one video changed everything. I passed the game challenge.
Yeah, so most people watching this probably already know what this is, but for those who are outside the loop, pass the game challenge is basically he or they, because there's two of them, the two guys. So they get multiple game devs that are on YouTube, like 5 game devs. They start working on the game and then pass it along to the next guy without saying anything. Like, here's the game. Now it's your turn. And then the new game dev is like, okay, what's going on? All right, I'm going to do something to this. And then they work on it for a day and then pass it along to the next guy. So each person gets like a day or something like that. And then they keep on passing it along until everybody gets through it or something like that. And it's basically for YouTube content. This pass the game challenge is to collaborate with other indie game dev YouTubers, and it's a gimmick purely to cross promote audiences, and it works. There's nothing wrong with collaboration and cross promotion. I've done a few videos with Ojiro. I do plan on doing more videos with him. We're not on, just because I haven't done a video with him in a while doesn't mean we're on bad terms or anything. We've just both been busy. We're both still on good terms. So I do plan on doing more videos with Ojiro. And maybe I'll do more with videos with other people, just for the sake of, let me skip the ad. We don't need another ad. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So nothing wrong with cross promotion, but I'm just adding context to this.
That video today has 1.8 million views. They found their golden goose, and they wrote that goose and kept doing those videos. But they never really nailed it with the other videos. Today they have over 600,000 subscribers and are posting videos every second week. Along the way they sold different courses on game dev and art. And they were very inspiring in those early days.
I just realized there's some music in the background, so I'm going to stop maybe every 30 seconds or so, just to make sure that the music doesn't demonetize this video, because he might be allowed to use the music because he has a license for it, but I don't have a license for it because I don't know what song that is. It might be within my not SoundCloud, Audio Jungle. I have access to Audio Jungle. I might have access to that song through Audio Jungle, but I'd have to find the song and get the license. Anyways, I'm just going to stop every 30 seconds or so just to make sure that I don't get demonetized.
About 2 years ago, they released a new course, which is supposed to be the ultimate game dev course. Before I tear this course a new asshole, there's something else we need to address. For context, in just...
Why is the... Okay, the quality was getting blurry for a second.
Their work, I'm a pro game dev with 12 years of experience, both in the AAA and indie space. I also released 2 of my own games on PC and Nintendo Switch.
This is the Pass the Game Challenge. 6 developers build an entire...
Okay, 6 developers, not 5. Anyways, I guess they're explaining the challenge.
Video game, the catch being that no communication between them is allowed.
In those videos, Blackthornprod does minimal editing and effort, and the devs do all the work. They create the games, the content, and even edit their part. And Blackthornprod just puts together the video. So basically they do a lot of free work to be in the video, get some exposure, and maybe have some fun. The videos are...
And I don't blame developers for doing that because, as I was mentioning in the context of this whole video, advertising and marketing your brand is so tough for indie game developers. So when they see an opportunity such as Blackthornprod, who has hundreds of thousands of people subs in their audience, and then they're like, "Oh, you're reaching out to me to collaborate with you and potentially be in front of your audience." Yeah, I'll take that opportunity, and I don't blame them. logically, it makes no sense to reject that offer unless you're just too busy or, just you feel like it's not worth your time.
Filled with ads for their own products and sponsorships. I reached out to a dozen of the developers who contributed to these videos. None of them were compensated with the generated revenue, and they got little to no exposure. Asylum Studios, Andrew Cunningham and Toby Murray participated with 4 entries in 2 different Blackthornprod challenges that both got cancelled. In the first challenge, the deadline was moved again and again, and then ultimately cancelled. And then the second one was cancelled on the day of the deadline. Then Blackthornprod goes...
So basically these guys who worked on these who worked with Blackthornprod for these challenges, they spent their own time and then never got compensated. And time is money.
Them for months. Andrew and Toby jumped through hoops for half a year, hoping for them to release something they worked on, so their work wasn't wasted. Blackthornprod also promised to shout out their game once it was released, but they never did. This year they released their game, a roguelike called Ram, where you play as the enemies. Check it out if it's your vibe. I reached out and Andrew had this to say: my time participating in Blackthornprod's game jam challenges left me with the impression that I was working for a content mill. Full stop. Blackthorn's own...
Yeah, and that's important. That's an important part of this video, is that people like Blackthornprod have made YouTube and YouTube content to be their goal. Their audience are game developers, and they're not actually making games themselves anymore. They're just making content for their audience, and that's basically it.
Interest in our work was as a free resource that they could allocate at their leisure and discretion to grow their challenge. When they decided it wasn't useful for that goal, they threw it out and asked for more. They made a YouTube video about this, and the comments are packed with developers who had a similar experience. Other developers have stated that the challenge is a do it for the fun and nothing more kind of experience. It's really a mixed bag. However, that's not the worst part. This is how they funnel customers into their next game. Their course, the game they work it. It has
I just want to take a, like I said, pause just so the music doesn't.
Promo video where they talk about going full time and live the dream, creating games on the beach. Okay, all of that for only $6.99.
I mean, this whole
beach,
using B-roll of developing, in the sunshine and the beach, this just comes across as these. These red pill courses that are get the women, live on the beach, these type of just straight up scams. Am I allowed to say that word on YouTube? I'm gonna say it anyways. Just look at me, I'm living the high life. That's what this comes across as. What does being on the beach have to do with game development? Who is developing a game? First of all, you're developing with a laptop and not trackpad, but a touchpad. Come on, what is this nonsense?
Okay, all of that for only $6.99. How cheap? And actually,
Ballin'.
it's been 50% off. This is the top comment of that video, which I think is very telling. This gives off huge boy guru vibes.
Yeah, exactly. The whole red pill, get rich, get the women, get ripped. That's whole I'm gonna sell you these courses, which just contains information you can find online for free.
Says this: I'm sorry, but this looks like get rich quick to me. In October, they also started selling a course called the Bootcamp for $1,000, consisting of 6 different tutorials on how to create different small games with what seems to be pre-made assets. They only took in.
Let's rewind that for a second. So let's look at this. Week 1, create your first game, install Unity, the Unity interface, getting your player to move, making hazards. So this is hit detection. So spawner, this is basically, all right, once you have the hit detection, I teach this in my course, in my course I teach for game development, but it's, just very simple stuff. once you start having the hit detection working, you have a manager that says, okay, you reach 0, now you have to respawn the character, you have a score. So like this is stuff that you can find online for free if you want to. I do teach this in my course, but my course is for a school, and they get a college credit once they complete the course. Plus, I am there to answer their questions for them, and that is a huge factor. Like when you're paying for a college course, you're getting assistance from the instructor or the professor. I don't think that they actually assist, especially with my experience with Thomas Brush. So I got Thomas Brush's, where did his go? Full time. Yeah. So, I got access to his course, and a big factor to his selling points to Thomas Brush's, which I don't like that he pulled the rug on that. But it used to be that they would have mastermind meetings once a month where like, okay, well, here, join once a month to this Zoom call, and I'm going to go through your games and give you feedback. And the other thing was Discord, so that he like talks to people. So he removed the mastermind meetings after, I don't know, 6 months or so, or something like that, or a year, I don't know. But he removed them eventually. And then the Discord, it still exists, but he's never on there. It's his, like, he hired some guy named Hector, who is the community manager, or his title is coach or something like that. But still, like, people pay for Thomas Brush, not Hector. Like, Hector is the guy who's answering questions on there. And then it's like, what's Thomas Brush? And he barely shows up on the Discord. So that's, to me, I feel like that is really lame that he, sold a course and then never shows up for it. But going back to them, like I said, that's getting feedback or getting answers from the person who's teaching is really important. And all these things you can find online, and I really doubt that they are actually answering questions. Let me get back to, okay, that is sad. Yes, that is as basic as telling the capsule to shoot in Unity. Yeah, all this stuff, really, really basic stuff. Like you could probably find these on their own YouTube channel. All these things, all this is probably on their own YouTube channel for free.
How to create different small games with what seems to be pre-made assets. They only took in 30 students, and from their claim, the big value is that they give you feedback every day. I think the course sold really poorly because shortly after, in November, they started promoting the Game Dev Rocket again, now with a 50% discount. But they had taken down the original website and published it on a different domain.
Check it out. Not only do you get to develop on the beach,
but they had taken down the original website and published
but you also get to develop with a woman. If you get this course, ballin'.
On a different domain. They make their money from YouTube ads, sponsorships, and selling their courses. They are not actually making money from their games. Noah, 50% of Blackthornprod, released 3 commercial games. Between 2019 to 2021, The Dreadful Whisperer is his best-selling game. I estimate it to have sold for about $15,000. Not entirely bad.
I wish my game made $15,000. But then again, like, these guys have a huge YouTube channel and only making 15,000. Let's look that up on. Let me get that up real quick. So, what is it? SteamDB. SteamDB.info. What was this game called again? The Black Whisperers or Dreadful?
Sold for about
Dreadful Whispers.
Is his best.
Let's look that up. Dreadful Whispers. So this is their most the most successful game. Keeping in mind they have like 600K subs, and this also goes to show what I was saying earlier, that cultivating an audience of game developers does not lead to game sales, because they don't care about your game. So where charts. So 39 peak. Wow, that's pretty sad for peak. I mean, considering that, how do I get the total sales? That is not good review score either. Only 155 reviews. Ooh. So estimated, yeah, around 6 to 9.5K sales. I mean, this is definitely much better than me, but again, this is not like good considering their large YouTube channel. And like I said before, the art style just comes across as how do I open this up on Steam? But the art style just comes across as looking like a knockoff of Edmund McMiller's art style. You know, just a knockoff of specifically knockoff of Binding of Isaac. There we go. Let's go there. Yeah, only 100. Well, it looks like it's very positive, but still, I mean, like as you can see, this it just looks like, you know, knockoff Binding of Isaac. And you'd expect. I like the channel and the graphics, but the gameplay is very too repetitive. It gets bland. But yeah, let's get back to the video.
Selling game. I estimated to have sold for about $15,000. Not entirely bad. The two other games did a bit worse and only earned about $5,000. That's $25,000 in total. After Steam take their cut, it's about $17,000. I couldn't find any proof that Liam released the game. So looking at the time they've been doing this, it's a ridiculous low amount of money. It's less than $1,500 per person a year. However, considering their huge following, this is pretty bad. You would expect a lot more sales. In their course, they mostly...
Well, I mean, like I said, though, I mean, he says, yeah, you expect more sales, but they're cultivating the wrong audience. The audience is not for gamers. The audience is for game devs. But the thing is, like, if it were a good game on its own, it would have, like, basically found its audience eventually. And because it's not hasn't found its audience. Hey, Liam in Wales, welcome. Are you the same Liam that's in Blackthornprod? I'm messing with you. Yeah, I know you're not. Or are you part of Blackthornprod? Because these guys their names are Liam and Noah.
Cover how to create a YouTube channel, monetize it, and practical info about publishing a game on Steam. Not how to pick a marketable game idea, genre, or art style.
Yeah, like what he just said right there is, it's what Chris Zukowski says is the most important thing. Chris Zukowski, who I showed earlier, this guy. So the most important thing as far as having a successful game starts before you even make your game. And that is finding the genre that sells, and like this guy said, the art style is also important too, because the visuals sell the game.
How to get influencers to cover your game, or how to fund the game. It's a very basic course in how to use different programs. One Reddit user said that the course had missing project files, and another had a mistake in them, causing people to do tedious work with a workaround and waiting months for simple updates. I'm not sure if it's still like that. Hopefully they updated the course. In short, they just can't teach you how to be a full-time game dev because they don't know how. But it gets worse. Asmodeus. On the website, you will find testimonies. Apparently, Danny, Barty, Polymars, Taudev...
Yeah, like all these guys, Barhi, Danny, like these are Polymars. These are like Tarot Dev. These are like big. What's the word I'm looking for? Personalities when it comes to game dev YouTube.
took their course and all gave it 5 stars. I found that really hard to believe, so I reached out to all of them. This is what Barty had to say about the subject. I believe the way in which they approached me about the testimony was disingenuous. It's presented on the website in a misleading way, which makes it look like I rated their course 5 stars, but I never actually seen the contents. I was never approached by the brothers about using my testimony on their bootcamp. They also never asked me whether they could use my face, as evident by the random screen grab they'd taken from one of my videos. The original testimony was made without much thought, just helping out a friend, which is negligence on my part. Blackthornprod used to be a place for new developers to go to get incredible value for little to no cost, but they seem to have figured out a way to abuse that trust for financial gain over the last few years to their videos and courses. Another developer from
And you know, that's just huge right there. That's they are they're what's the word? It's disingenuous. They are false advertising. They are saying that these big YouTubers have took the course and rated 5 stars.
Testimonies confirmed this as well. Both of them didn't know that the testimonies were actually still being used to sell their course. And on a different course, the bootcamp, they're reusing the exact same testimonies. This is fake. These quotes from the famous game dev YouTubers are not about the course. Maybe Danny's quote is just from a random YouTube video where he wrote a comment. However, they make it seem like it's from the course and that they rated it 5 stars. It's very misleading. And is it illegal? We'll get to that, but it actually gets even worse.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Oh,
Money talk.
I should. That was a
Different section.
that was a what's it called? WWE music. So I don't want to get in trouble with that.
Yes, you'll learn game art, programming, and so on. Each of these courses are about 6 to 30 hours long, at a mere price of 200 to 1,000.
Like, this is so what he's about to go into right now is talk about how they have this price, you know, $16,000, and then they slash it and say, okay, you could get it for this much, which is basically like what a lot of clothing stores in America do. Like if I go to these cheaper clothing stores, everything is always like 50% off because the real price is actually fake and the discounted price is the real price. The new age of motivational books by your hope.
$600 per section. If you could buy them individually, that's insane. Learning how to make a multiplayer game in 6 hours is just not worth $1,000. The total price of the full course is $5,000. We're so lucky we can only get it for $700. Oh yeah, and with 50% off.
Yeah, like I said, it's just
But hey, they offer a money back guarantee.
false
Safe. In reality,
false pricing just to make it seem like you're lowering the price.
most countries in Europe require you by law to offer 14 days refund, depending a bit on the country. So if they deny you after those 7 days, they're actually breaking the law, unless you as a consumer withdraw that right. But according to their terms on the website, they don't. So it depends if you're requesting a refund, if they're overstepping the law. It should be mentioned that in those 14 days, if you actually begin the course, you don't have that right. It's illegal under the consumer.
Just a quick, like I'm still reading chat. Just want to make sure, that you guys know that I'm still going to respond to you guys. Also, please leave a like while you're watching this video. Please leave a like so that the algorithm gets boosted. And if you want to do a super chat, that's welcome. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll definitely read your super chat. If asterisk, I don't like cussing, so I will mostly read it. Depending on what it says. Stop moving. All right. Back to the video.
Law in the US and EU to have fake consumer testimonies and reviews. I believe these are fake and were never about the course. I proved they use the same testimonies on different courses and present them as reviews, judging from the 5 stars. According to consumer laws, your product must have been sold 13 days at a given price and be selling before you can claim that as a previous price of your product. Stay with me. I can't prove that they ever sold their product for $5,000.
Yeah, and at that point, what they're doing is illegal. Like especially with like American and European laws.
I did look through the history of the website since the
Oh, Tim Kane's daily video is kind of close. He mentioned seeing that the change from game dev for the love of the game to game dev as a job. It's the big change that happened in the 90s. I used to watch Tim Kane's videos, but I just don't have time to watch. So there's so many videos to try to keep up with. I do try to listen to some videos while I'm working my warehouse job, but sometimes I don't listen to anything at all because I need to just focus. Let's see. Oh, hey, is that a? Why did not? Yeah, there it goes. There it is. Hey, Wrangler, thank you for. Does it say there are no cusses in the super chat? Well, thanks for not cussing. I'm gonna give it a little heart. I'm gonna also give it a 100. Can you see the 100? There it is. Boom, 100. Let's see. Liam says there's only so much you can watch. I was a Fallout player in the 90s, so I can't stop. Man, I missed my window on playing Fallout. Back when I was like in high school. Sorry, not high school. College. I had Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and another Fallout, and I was like, I'm gonna play these eventually. And then I just never played them, and now I just don't have time for these like 80-hour long games or 100-hour long games. I missed my window. I came to acceptance that I'm never going to be able to play those games.
launched in March 2023, and it was never sold at these prices. EU consumer laws warns about fake discounts, where a company presents a original inflated price to make the discount look larger. What I found looks very similar to that kind of practice. I reached out to Blackthornprod to get their opinion and asked about these issues. They never replied, unfortunately. If you bought this course and weren't happy, I suggest you...
I'm young. Well, I'm a family man. I have to pay the bills and I have to spend time with my family, so I don't have time for long games on my own.
request a refund and refer to the links I provided down below.
I probably will not be able to play many games that are like rated T and up until my oldest boys are old enough to hang out with me while I play those type of games. Because right now it's like if I play video games, then I gotta let the boys in on it as well because they want to see video games or play video games with me.
The laws regarding misleading customers and inflating the price, even if the 7-day refund window has passed. If you earlier had or been offered participation in past the game challenges, I suggest you decline further participation. This is part of their scam to funnel people into their course. Personally, I don't have a stake in this. I reached out some years ago about past the game challenge before I knew better.
That's basically it with his video. He basically says like, you know, hey, other game devs don't do the past the game challenge with him. And big thing with this video is that so Danny, the one who I said who was the biggest of the YouTubers, he replied, he's like, yeah, I never took their course and never gave him 5 stars. And like, you know, he was showcased as having given them 5. Yeah, right there. Yeah, 5 stars. So you know, he replied. Barhi also said that he requested the testimony be removed and he never heard back. This guy, so Lost Relic Games, I like his channel. He has almost 100K subs, and he used to do like tutorials back in the day, like, you know, how to do a character controller, you know, 2D platformer. But then he eventually shifted towards other type of content that's still for game developers. But I mean, I like his channel. But the point being, like, he said that he participated with them, but he did say, "Hey, at least I got these things out of it." But also, it was tough working with them with tight deadlines. Oh no, the Trepang 2 square until then. Well, yeah. I will not play Trepang 2 until then. But yeah, so the point that I want to talk about with this is not more about like Blackthornprod in particular, because they're just one game developer. I think a major point that was brought up in this video was that they have, or at least one of them, Noah, has 3 games on Steam, and they didn't do too well, relatively too well. I mean, if it were my numbers, it would be great, but for them, not so great. Hey, Zishan Salam, thanks for joining. He's been MIA. Yes. Yeah, Danny's been MIA. What was I saying? So yeah, so the I guess a major point I want to focus on. Let me get this off my head. I feel different without that. I can hear myself. So of these 2 guys, these two brothers, if I can find them real quick, I can't find them. Anyways, so Noah and Liam. Noah has 3 games on Steam, relatively not successful, and Liam has 0 games on Steam. And basically, like, a lot of people have compared this to saying that Blackthornprod is no longer digging for gold and instead is selling pickaxes to other people to dig for gold. He has the gold rush problem. They went for gold and gave up. Now they're selling fake gold and shovels, seeing who bites. Yeah, exactly. You nailed it, Liam. We're on the same page. You and I, we're mind linked right now. So go ahead and add to the chat whatever I'm about to say next, so I can just read off what you're about to say. I'm messing with you. It's the same web dev tutorials or photography tutorials. Yeah, and like a lot of it is like, like the whole like guru situation in general. Like I compared them to the red pill, get rich, get ripped, get the women type thing. And a lot of that content you find online. Of course, you'll find the ones that are actually making like millions of subs, and they're making their money off the YouTube, and the small number of people who are actually buying their courses. But then you have like a bunch of people online who are talking about these things, and they don't even have the success themselves. So it's the whole guru situation. AI is a new fake tutorial land. Crypto was the last one. Yeah, I agree. Liam is the chosen one. He is, unless he's Liam from Blackthornprod. Are you? But what was I about to say? So a lot of and this is a huge problem with game dev YouTube, is that a lot of I recently made a video. Turn that off. Let me actually. I should just turn off the audio altogether. There we go. So a lot of game dev YouTube. So this is. I'm not saying this guy's a scammer or anything. This is that, but like this guy, I've seen him for like 5 years online, and it's like, okay, you've been making this game for literally 5 years. When's it gonna come out? He's just making videos on. I'm not saying he's like a bad guy or anything, and some of his videos are interesting, but I just stopped watching this guy for a long time ago, because it's like, yo, you're literally just you're just adding more mechanics to your game. When you're gonna like actually release your game? Just finish it up. And just a lot of these guys on YouTube working on games for forever and never release their game. So this guy this guy I've seen, like, he started. I feel like he started his game development journey around the same time I did. Like we both started making videos around the same time. Though like my older videos, I removed them. And he has almost 70,000 subs. But the problem is, like his entire career has now become selling the idea of being a game developer rather than being a game developer, because he started off, let's go to the oldest. He started off like, hey, we sold our house so that we can be game developers, and they're working on this Metroidvania game. And like I remember he was posting it on Thomas Brush's Discord, because I was on there too, because I was expecting Thomas Brush to post on there, but he didn't. But this guy was posting his game, and he's like, yeah, I'm working on like a Metroidvania inspired by Hollow Knight, at least 16 hours long. And I'm like, yo, dude, 16 hours long for your game? That's going to take you forever to make your game. You're never going to finish. And he never finished. He never finished this game. He moved on. He moved on from multiple games. So he worked on this game for a while. He made lots of tutorials. The tutorials are starting to make him videos. Get him views, which led to not only ad revenue, but what's the other thing? Sponsorships. Video sponsorships. And then he started working on another game, Samurai Avocado or something like that, which he also gave up on. So like this guy kept on scaling down his goals. Like, okay, we're gonna make a Metroid. We're gonna make Hollow Knight. Okay, we can't do that. We're gonna make this Avocado Samurai roguelike. Oh, this is still too ambitious. All right, let's go down even further. And then he finally. Like he made a game jam. It's eventually, but he basically makes a cozy game within a game jam. So he finally made that game because it was a game jam, and then he refined the game a little bit. Like I think spent like a week or so refining it even more, and then released that game jam game on Steam. And it's like, okay, you've been selling the idea of being a game developer for like years now, and you only have one game on Steam. I mean, I'm not trying to judge the fact that he only has one game, because I only have one game on Steam too. But I'm not trying to sell the idea of being a game developer to other people. Like that's not my goal with this channel. And I think that's a huge factor as to why people will criticize a channel like this one, because it's like, okay, you're just selling the idea of making a game, and you just recently released one game. And that's like the same with like Blackthornprod. There it is, Blackthornprod. I mean, the much bigger channel, and only released three games that have mild success. Let's get back to the chat real quick. All right, let's get back in here. All right. Gotta scroll up a little bit. All right, I saw that one. Let's go back. Talk about reality being stagnant, Liam. That's why I think Thomas Brush is more dangerous. Linda, too. Let's hold on. Let me get back to this. Guy got lucky and had success off the backs of others, but now people happily sign up for his course. So yes, he's had successful launches, but much of that was truly him. Yeah. So Thomas Brush, my opinion on him, it's mixed. At the very least, he has developed games, and they're not like game jam games. They're actual games. So he has 2 platformers that are story driven, and he just released or is about to release his latest one, like Twisted Tower, which is a first person shooter. So at the very least, he's finishing the games. I think my major criticism with him, well, other than the fact that he pulled the rug on the whole we're going, interacting with his students. To me, that's huge. If you're not going to interact with your students, then like you gotta be upfront with that. You gotta say, hey, this course, I'm not going to do anything with you. Don't advertise that you're going to have a Discord and then somebody named Hector is online talking for you. That's like, me with my courses that I'm teaching in college. Like that, my job is literally to answer questions and help when they are stuck. Beyond my lectures that I'm giving them. Like that is a huge portion of my work is to help the students out. And if I'm not helping them out, then what's the point of them taking the course? They could just do YouTube videos. Like even YouTubers, like if you find some random channel, sometimes they'll answer you eventually. You leave a comment. So that's, but aside from that, as far as Thomas Brush, I think he is also like what worked for him is not going to work for the majority of people. I think that's also a huge factor because he was able to get publishing deals, and when he got the publishing deals, they're very early on. The ecosystem with indie publishers was completely different. And that was one of his selling points he was saying on his for his course was, I got $100,000 through a publishing deal. You can too by doing this. And at this point, that's really difficult to get a publishing deal with anybody, because there's so many game developers, and the way how they give publishing deals is a lot different now. It's like when I at one point I paid Rami Ismail for consulting 2 times, and he was saying I can easily get $100,000 through a publishing deal, and it was like a really bad 2D platformer that I gave up. That I scrapped. I scrapped the idea altogether. Let me transition to me. Yeah. So, Rami Ismail, he was telling me that I can get the publishing deal, and maybe his information would have been correct like years prior, but I reached out to literally every publisher and got no publishing deal, and I got only 2 people gave me. Only 2 publishers gave me like thorough feedback as to why I wasn't going to get a publishing deal with them and what was wrong with my game. A lot of the publishers either did not respond to me at all, or like, oh, that seems kind of cool, but we don't publish that type of game. So I think that's a huge factor as to why I'm critical of Thomas Brush, is that his methods aren't going to work for everybody as far as finding success and revenue. So I skipped this one by Liam. Linda tutorials used to be good. I used them about 15 years ago. Yeah, I think Linda got purchased by LinkedIn. So now LinkedIn is basically Linda. And you can access those for free through a library card, depending on the library card you have. Some libraries don't have access. But what was I going to say? Udemy seems to be the thing that has kind of outdone that at this point. I have a corporate Udemy account that allows me to access like whatever's available on Udemy with the school I work for. Let's get back to selling your house is a bad idea. That's scary. I'd copy Spider software if anything, slow and steady. yeah, I think the idea of like, hey, I sold my house to live the dream, and that's the reason why he has to focus on YouTube, because YouTube was the thing that was bringing him money and not his games. And now he pigeonholed himself into the Sasquatch B Games pigeonholed himself into this situation where it's like, okay, I need to pay the bills because I sold my house and I ran out of money, and therefore, and YouTube's the only thing bringing me money at the moment, so I need to keep making YouTube videos and not actually make games. And I'm not saying like Sasquatch B Games is a scammer. I'm not saying he is a bad person. He's probably a very nice person. But the thing I'm saying is that he has now like placed himself in a situation where he is no longer actually making games, and he's just selling the idea of making games to other people who want to make games. And that is like a huge problem with the whole indie game YouTube scene at the moment, where you have people selling the idea of making games, and you also have people who are just like, just using YouTube as additional revenue, because like, okay, I'm never gonna finish my game, I'm just gonna keep on making a YouTube video every once in a while, and get a bunch of views and maybe a sponsorship because people are interested in my game but never actually finish making my game. And they probably are making more money, the people who put themselves in that situation, like that Project Feline game. Where did I put that that window? Did I close it? I think I closed it. Let me open up a new one. Yeah, this one right here. Let me go back. Yeah, so this game. Let's just have that. Can I make that bigger? No? Okay. Anyways, so yeah, this game over here, like, I'm pretty certain. Let's see how many views he makes. No, that's pretty good. 400. So he had to have made for that many views on his video, like maybe $2,000. I'm guessing maybe $2,000 through ad revenue. Depends on the RPM, but we'll just say $2,000 at least. And he'll probably make more money just making videos like this than actually releasing his game, because the game itself, it's been in development for a long time. People lose interest for a while, and who knows if it's actually going to end up being good or not. Who knows? And like, that's the situation that he's in with his current branding, Project Feline, is that he's going to be more profitable just making more of these videos than actually releasing this game. And again, I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying he's scamming people either, because he's not selling a course. But a lot, these guys who have made their YouTube successful for them, stop moving. The problem is that they have pigeonholed themselves to focus more on YouTube than their actual game. And I guess, I could probably say the same about myself, but I'm not selling the idea of making games. At least I'm not making videos where it's like, hey, look at my game, and I'm doing it for 5 years. I'm trying to provide value. I'm trying to talk about topics that people want to hear about and give perspective. So it's the situation I'm in is a little bit different, and I understand that making videos is very time consuming. That's why I haven't made a lot lately. But let's get back to the chat. Let me scroll up. I know I missed a lot of the chat. Okay, I read that already. Let's scroll down. I read Linda. Okay, there we go. Guy got lucky, has had success off the backs of others, but now, okay. I think I read that one, yes. Zishan read that. Okay, sell. Yeah, I read that already. Selling your house. All right, Metroidvanias rock. I'm so glad that indie developers run with them because the AA studios mostly ignore the genre. Yeah, I do like Metroidvanias. Um, for a while, we're like us Metroidvania fans were high and dry. We were thirsty for anything. Like back in the Nintendo DS game era, there'd be a Castlevania game every once in a while. And then eventually we started seeing more and more once indie game developers became prevalent. Though my criticism with that is, with Metroidvanias in particular, is that it seems that there are lots of game developers, especially solo game developers, who are like, I like Hollow Knight and I'm going to make Hollow Knight. So, okay, good luck, buddy. And sometimes you have successes, like that game. It's on Amazon right now. The gaming, where is it? Gaming Amazon. Yeah, this Bow Path of Teal Lotus. It's on. Like if you have an Amazon account, you can get it for free. Let me get that on screen real quick. Where transition? Okay, yeah, this game. So this game, yeah, like it's clearly inspired by Hollow Knight, and it looks like it did well for itself. It was different enough to do well, but there are other games that are like, okay, this is clearly just trying to be Hollow Knight, but not as good. And that's not going to do you any good if it's trying to be Hollow Knight, but not as good. Let's get back to the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up soon. So if you want to do a super chat, I appreciate it. If you don't, I'm still going through the chat. I'm still catching up with everybody. Fast iteration used to be key to learn from computer code, making small projects fast to learn from start to end. Sounds like, yeah, I agree with that. Making projects, especially small projects, understanding scope is huge. And a lot of these guys who are making their game multiple years long and building their YouTube channel. I mean, you have every right to build your YouTube channel. I'm not criticizing them for that, but the fact that you're spending multiple years on your game, maybe you should have came up with a smaller idea, like that Project Feline game that I shown a couple times already on screen. A lot of his videos are like, hey, I'm adding this new type of hazard, this new type of game mechanic. And my thoughts are, why? Why not just stop making new mechanics and just make the level? Just make a handful, or not a handful, but like make enough levels for 2 hours of content. And if you sell the game like $10 normal price, and then when it's on sale for $7, people will buy it. If the graphics look fine, and it looks like a fun game, just make a 2-hour long game. People will not be angry. The fact that he's like constantly making these videos of, hey, here's this new mechanic. Okay, dude, like you scale it down, and that's a huge reason why so many game developers are not able to finish their game. Not because they don't have time. Like, I don't have time. I just don't have time to make games right now at the moment. I'm trying to make time, but some people just don't know when to stop. They don't know how to cut off the fat and say, okay, well, I'm going to just stop at this much. Sounds like the trap of sky-high dreams with no hope to end. You don't learn well if you don't go from start to end on each project. Doing small ones helps you learn fast. It was the point. Yeah, I completely, 100% agree with this, Liam. You are now the host of the show. Hold on. You dropped this, King. Of ideas like Game Jam back in the days. Hold on, let me scroll that. I think I scrolled too much. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I did scroll too much. Selling. You can make 100K. Copy me is the problem. It needs to be. I love making games. I don't care. I make games for me. Make games, then jobs may come. You need to love the subject, not the money. I partially agree. I think. Where is my I need to bring this up. Whoop. Nope. Go back to the right screen. I got a graphic that I like to show. Where are you? Okay, let me go to my class files. It should be in there. View icons. Can I see it in here? No. Okay, if it's not in here, where else did I put it? Okay, skip ad. Let me go to my slides. Okay, slides.google.com. Let's go to, where is it? Probably week 1 or week 2. Oh no, I'm taking too long. Anyways, so I got this image that I can't find at the moment. Unless let me go here. No, I don't see it. Full the files. No, don't see it there. Okay, all right. Anyways, so I made a Venn diagram, and it is 3 circles. Okay, let me just let's just get paint on the screen. Paint. All right. I'll be what's that guy's name? Pirate Software. There we go. Transition. All right. So here's what I'm gonna make one circle here. There's one circle. And this is games that you want to make. These are games I like Metroidvanias, card games, fighting games. Okay, whatever, the games I like. And this is another, the Venn diagram. This is games I can make. All right, can. So, like for example, if I like making a game like XCOM, but it's beyond my skill set, it doesn't go here. It can't fit there, okay? It doesn't go there. Because the games I can make, like a 2D platformer, I can make that, all right? And then we'll take this, we'll make one more circle down here, and then look how, using my mouse, look how good that circle was. And this is games that, we'll say I should make, or they have an audience. There we go. Games that have an audience. Games I should make. And so this is where I should land. Because I should be passionate for the game I'm making. I should be able to make the game, and the game should also sell. Because if the game doesn't sell, then I'm not making it worthwhile for myself. Making money is not the only thing that's important, but making money is important. I need to pay bills at the end of the day. I should not waste my time. This is specifically, business. I ran out of room. Business. There we go. So this is basically, let's get that back off screen. That's how I feel about selecting the game. So yeah, making the game, I should be passionate about it, but I think the important thing is, can I make it? do I want to make it, and can it sell? We used to call. Let's go back to the chat. Oh, I went too far down. I feel like, excuse me. I feel like when I press down on this, it goes too far. All right. The technicians were better. Let's scroll a little farther. The technicians were better at using software, but had no idea how to make anything good. Good old times. Team Cherry spent many years on their game, but they were also quiet while working rather than profiting off the mere concept of YouTube. I mean, Team Cherry does not need to. The fortunate thing with them is they've gotten so big, is that they don't need to. They don't need to do this. They don't need to get out in front of their audience and say things. They could just release a game, a month from their release date, and then have it be one of the best-selling games of the year. And that comes with. They built an audience through the fact that Hollow Knight was just an amazing game. You need money. Just if you don't love making games, you're going to burn out. I see indie dev as a CV. You may not sell, but it will help you get work. Yeah, my first game, Nexus Defenders, definitely not a financial success, but for me, it was a success under different metrics. As far as I have a game that I've sold that has good reviews. I went through the entire process of finishing the game, finishing the development of the game. I fixed it up post-launch, added content post-launch. I learned about the marketing. I learned about reaching out to YouTubers. There's so many things I learned about it that I'm very fortunate to gone through the experience, and I find it a success through those metrics. I should wrap things up because I'm expecting somebody to call me very soon. So if no one has anything else to say in the chat, please leave a like on the video. I appreciate you guys joining me, and I hope this discussion was interesting to you. I know it's a little bit different than the usual, but I figure talking about this can be enlightening to certain people that, oh yeah, there's a whole scene when it comes to indie games. Indie game developers are not all like holding hands and buddy. Like there's a lot going on, and a lot of it's like, snake oil salesmen or just trying to cultivate an audience of other game developers, even though it's like going against the audience that they want to sell their game. Regardless, hopefully the topic was interesting. Thanks to everyone who has joined me on this live stream. And again, the new time for the live streams will be Tuesdays, unless I'm scheduled at my warehouse job, then I'll shift it to that specific week. But I'm going to shoot for Tuesdays. Thanks, Wrangler. God bless you too. Thanks to everyone who joined. Especially Liam, I'm forgiving you for being part of Blackthornprod. You and your brother, good job. And thanks to everyone for joining me on this live stream. Take care, and goodbye and howdy hoo. Thank you, Sabr and Balahi. All right.